Hey everybody, how are you? Today I'm doing something a little different. Sorry. I'm gonna do a story time, and I think the title is going to be "The Best and the Worst Days of My Life." Back in January of 2006, I was so excited. I was expecting my first grandchild. Now, of course, you know, everybody's going to say the best days of their life with their children. And that, of course, is one of my top three. But being a grandma, first-time grandma, is extra special. This is a child you get to love on and not discipline over all the little things. The little things we seem to let go. You know, we only discipline when it comes to safety. And we get to go shopping together, and, you know, I get to buy them stuff and spoil the heck out of her. So, we knew, I guess my daughter was about 6 months along. We knew that this child was going to come into the world with some difficulties. It was diagnosed about 6 months old, or 6 months along, that she would only have half of a heart. Pardon me, I don't know the medical terms. I only know layman's terms of what the doctor said. So, you know, we were getting ready for the special needs child. All excited for her. And on January 9th, my daughter went into labor. I took her to the hospital. Got her, you know, going through labor, excited, worried at the same time because this is my child. And, you know, calling the father, the other grandparents, you know, doing what I needed to do and helping her through labor. We got, Kaylee Cheyenne was born. I can't remember if it was afternoon or evening. All I know is, it was great seeing that life being born. She was an awesome little girl. She was breathing on her own, so they let us, you know, hold and visit her for about a half an hour. Everybody fell in love with this little girl. They then prepared. We was in one of the best OBGYN hospitals in Columbus. After they gotten Kaylee, stabilized and ready for transport, me and the father followed her over to Children's Hospital. My daughter was fine, you know, she was recovering fine. She wanted me to be with her girl. So I went over there, and I knew what her heart was feeling, because I remember going home without my son, because he was born with some type of respiratory problem, which was, he's okay now, but anyway, so I ran to the local children's hospital, and, you know, they've got all the IVs and the hoses hooked up to her, and she's stable. Her little heart's beating like crazy, just trying to keep up with what a normal heart should do. It was almost like twice the amount of beats. So Santana was, she was released 24 hours later, and she came over, and our children's hospital has a, like about 4 or 5 rooms to where ICU mother and fathers can stay the night when their child is in, you know, in critical condition. So she stayed there for a week, and then my granddaughter was, you know, during that time she had a whole bunch of tests done. We found out she had 2 left kidneys Now, at that time, I never knew there was a difference between the right and left, but apparently there is. So we found out that was abnormal, and there was a few other things, and they was getting her ready for a heart surgery to rewire some of the ventricles and, get it pumping a little bit easier for her. Now, in the meantime, we knew that this child was going to have a rough life. We knew it, and we was, getting everything ready at home. My daughter lived with me at the time, and my daughter would come home and rest, then be back at the hospital, and so on. So we spent, I guess, when the child was, Kayla was a week old, we spent 10 hours in the waiting room waiting for her heart surgery. It went good, but the doctors had found that Kaylee had 2 livers fused together, which was causing problems. 6 days later, they had put her on dialysis because I guess the kidneys weren't functioning well, the liver wasn't filtering correctly, so they had put her on dialysis. At this point, the baby was a balloon. She wasn't even recognizable. If you didn't know which bay to go into, you just didn't recognize her. And I gave her the nickname. I give them all my grandchildren nicknames. She was my boo. And they called in the family that night. She was a fighter. She made it through the night. I swore we'd get through this. So she was on dialysis for a week. And, we was there, someone was there 24/7. Either a grandparent or a parent, great-grandparent, uncles, aunts, somebody was there. Uh, 7 days after the initial dialysis started, my daughter went to the hospital, as she always does, or always did, and she came home to wash up, to eat lunch, and then she was going to head back. I get a call, because at the time I didn't drive, so she was taking the bus home. I get a call from the father saying that Santana needed to get in there right away. I said, okay, I will wait for her at the bus stop, and I will bring her right back down. Because I believe I was borrowing the car that day or something, because I just didn't want to brave the cold or something. I mean, this is in the middle of January, or end of January. So I find my daughter, and we rushed to the hospital. And we had found out that Kaylee had 3 heart attacks in an hour. And, they were keeping her alive. There was no DNR orders on the child. When we got to the hospital, as soon as we got there, and the doctor was explaining things, my daughter went in, and then she went into her 4th cardiac arrest. They brought the heart back. My daughter flew out of the bay, jumped in my lap in the wheelchair, and put her arms around me and says, I don't know what to do. And being the strong one at that time, I had to be strong for my daughter, to be strong for her daughter. I said, it's time. I said, it's time to let her go in peace. 4 heart attacks is enough. She can't do anymore. She was 20 days old. Now, I want you to know my daughter did nothing in her pregnancy to cause this, and I'll explain a little later. Nothing my daughter did in pregnancy did this. So, my daughter called the doctor back, and they signed the papers to have all the machines unhooked. Everybody that was there went in to say goodbye. That was the worst day of my life. And I think that will always be the worst day of my life. But we said goodbye. The grandparents, the great-grandparent, my son, we all came out on the other side of the curtain, and they unplugged everything and put the baby in my daughter's arms, and she and the father held the baby back and forth. I heard that baby's last gasp of air. It was hard, but we made it through. And that's why I try to tell my children and my grandchildren every time I see them to know that they're loved, because I never know when that last moment will come. Here I thought I would have at least 5 to 10 years with this child, and it all broke down into 20 days. The doctor kept saying they don't know what happened for her to have all these abnormalities. But I was doing research, and I believe it was the vanishing twin syndrome. It's when, twins are supposed to be born, and one twin absorbs certain cells of the other, and the other dissipates. That's what we believe, and I think that's what keeps us sane. That it was just a freak thing that happened, and but I know, for me, I will see that child again. Right now, she's in God's lap, or Jesus' lap, and when I show up, she will come to me, and I will hold her like I always wanted to, and that gives me some comfort. But I'm sorry I tried to make it through. But when I do tell this story, it's just like old wounds come up. But, it's been 10 years. And we've all moved on with life, but we do remember her. Her siblings do know about her. They know about their big sister in heaven, which is an awesome thing. But I would like you all to be introduced to Kaylee Cheyenne. So, that's a video I wanted to do for a long time, and just never could do it. But I think it's good to know that we have to love everyone as best we can on every moment of the day, because we never know what can happen. I will see you all later, and everybody have a good Tuesday. Bye.